Welcome back to Deep Terror, your gateway to the unexplained. Tonight's investigation takes us into a phenomenon documented across cultures, eras, and continents. Silent silhouettes appearing in bedrooms. Figures made of pure darkness, eyes without light, yet watching. Scientists call it sleep paralysis. Experiencers call them the shadow men. So in this episode, we ask the question that haunts countless witnesses. Are the shadow people real, or just a trick of the brain caught between sleep and wakefulness? Stay with us. The truth may be stranger than both. Asterisk. Have you ever woken up in the middle of the night, completely frozen, unable to move a muscle? Your heart pounds in your chest as you sense a presence in the room. Then, out of the corner of your eye, you see it, a tall, dark figure, a silhouette with no features, just an abyss of pure blackness. It's watching you. You try to scream, but no sound comes out. This terrifying experience is known to thousands, if not millions, around the world. They are the shadow people, the Hat Man, the figures that lurk in the darkest corners of our bedrooms. But what are they? Are they malevolent entities from another dimension? Ghosts of the departed? Or simply a trick of the mind? A product of sleep paralysis? Today, we delve deep into the unsettling world of the shadow men to uncover the truth behind these terrifying visitations. Let's start with what we know for sure. The experience I just described is a classic case of sleep paralysis. This is a real documented medical phenomenon that occurs when a person passes between stages of wakefulness and sleep. During these transitions, you may be unable to move or speak for a few seconds up to a few minutes. It's essentially a state where your brain is awake, but your body is still in sleep mode, specifically the REM stage, where your muscles are temporarily paralyzed to stop you from acting out your dreams. It sounds simple enough, but for those who experience it, it's anything but. The feeling of being trapped in your own body is horrifying enough, but it's the hallucinations that often accompany it that truly sear the experience into your memory. These hallucinations, known as hypnagogic, if they happen as you fall asleep, or hypnopompic if they happen as you wake up, can be incredibly vivid. They can involve sounds, like footsteps, whispers, or a buzzing noise. They can involve physical sensations, like a pressure on your chest, making it feel like you're being held down or suffocated. And, most frighteningly, they can involve visual apparitions. This is where the shadow men enter the picture. Neurologically, a part of our brain, called the amygdala, which is responsible for fear and our fight-or-flight response, can become hyperactive during sleep paralysis. This heightened state of fear can lead the brain to project our deepest anxieties into the room around us. Since our vision is often blurry and the room is dark, our brain tries to make sense of ambiguous shapes and shadows. It often defaults to a human-like form, as our brains are hardwired to recognize faces and figures. This creates the perfect storm for perceiving a menacing, human-shaped shadow standing in your room. The feeling of a malevolent presence is also a key component. Scientists suggest this might be a neurological misfire. Your brain is aware of your own body through a map in the parietal lobe. During sleep paralysis, this mapping process can get disrupted. Your brain senses your own presence, but perceives it as separate, as another in the room. Because you're paralyzed and terrified, your brain interprets this other as a threat, as something sinister that means you harm. So, the shadow figure feels evil because your brain is literally telling you there's a dangerous intruder present, even if it's just a misinterpretation of your own self. This explains why so many accounts of shadow people describe an overwhelming sense of dread and pure evil. It's not necessarily an external entity projecting this feeling. It's your own brain in a state of high alert and confusion. But is that the whole story? For every scientific explanation, there are countless personal testimonies that seem to defy simple logic. People from all over the world, from different cultures, and with no prior knowledge of the phenomenon, report seeing the exact same things. The most common figure is a tall, man-shaped silhouette, often wearing what looks like a fedora or a wide-brimmed hatta. infamous Hat Man. Others describe smaller, quicker figures that dot across the room, or a hooded figure reminiscent of a Grim Reaper. The consistency of these descriptions is staggering. If it's just a personal hallucination based on individual fears, why do so many people see the same distinct entity? This is where the narrative shifts from science to the paranormal. Folklore and paranormal researchers have different theories. Some believe shadow people are interdimensional beings, entities that exist in a reality parallel to our own. They suggest that during states of altered consciousness, like sleep paralysis or deep meditation, the veil between our worlds becomes thin, allowing us to perceive them, and perhaps for them to perceive us. This theory posits that they are not ghosts, as they don't seem to be the spirits of deceased humans. They feel alien, different, and their motives are unknown. Some experiencers feel they are simply curious observers, while others are convinced they are energy vampires, feeding off the fear they generate. This would explain why they appear during our most vulnerable moments. Another popular theory is that they are malevolent spirits or even demonic entities. This interpretation often comes from a religious or spiritual perspective. The crushing pressure on the chest is seen as a direct spiritual attack, the paralysis a form of bondage, and the figure itself a manifestation of evil. Many people report that praying or calling on a higher power causes the figure to disappear and the paralysis to break. For them, the experience is not a brain glitch. It's a spiritual battle. They argue that these entities are drawn to negative energy, stress, or spiritual openness, and that sleep paralysis is simply the doorway they use to enter our perception, adding another layer of complexity. There are reports of people seeing shadow people when they are fully awake and not experiencing sleep paralysis at all. These sightings often happen out of the corner of the eye, a fleeting dark shape that vanishes when you turn to look directly at it. Skeptics might attribute this to simple tricks of the light, fatigue, or peripheral vision playing games. Our peripheral vision is great at detecting motion, but poor at detail. So it's easy for the brain to misinterpret a shadow or a coat hanging on a door as a figure. However, some people swear they have seen these figures clear as day, standing in a hallway or room, only for them to fade or dart away in an instant. These waking encounters are much harder to explain through the lens of sleep science. So, where does that leave us? On one hand, we have a very strong, scientifically supported explanation rooted in neurology and the known effects of sleep paralysis. It explains the paralysis, the sense of dread, the pressure on the chest, and the visual hallucinations of dark figures. It's a compelling case that suggests the shadow men are not out there, but in here, inside our own minds. But on the other hand, the sheer volume of anecdotal evidence, the incredible consistency of the descriptions across cultures, and the accounts of waking sightings present a challenge to this neat and tidy explanation. Can we dismiss the experiences of millions of people as mere hallucinations? The feeling of reality during these encounters is profound. For those who have been visited by the Hat Man, the scientific explanation, while logical, often feels incomplete. It doesn't fully capture the personal and terrifying nature of the encounter. Ultimately, the mystery of the shadow men lies at the intersection of science and personal experience, of neurology and folklore. Perhaps they are a modern cultural myth, a personification of our primal fears given form by a quirk of brain chemistry during sleep. Or perhaps, just perhaps, they are something more. Perhaps when our consciousness is adrift between the worlds of sleeping and waking, we truly do get a glimpse of something that exists just beyond our normal range of perception. The truth may be a combination of both. Maybe sleep paralysis is the mechanism, the biological state that tunes our brain to the right frequency to perceive these entities that are always there, just out of sight. Whether they are a product of our neurons or visitors from the shadows, one thing is certain. For anyone who has seen one, the world never looks quite the same again. The night is a little darker, and the shadows are a little longer. What do you think? Have you ever seen a shadow person? Was it during sleep paralysis, or were you wide awake? Share your stories and theories in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you think about this unsettling phenomenon. Thanks for watching. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into the unknown, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more explorations into the mysteries that surround us. Stay curious, and maybe sleep with a nightlight on tonight.